If you're at all interested in survival horror, go play the demo for Holstin right now. It's on Steam. There are actually 2 different parts available, with the third one releasing later this year. I've already made a video about the first demo where you explore a creepy house and get an idea of the game's atmosphere and puzzles. The second demo, which introduces combat, just came out, so that's what I'm going to focus on here. We're thrown into this tunnel system, and a helpful tour guide is there to greet us. The experience is broken up into a couple different chapters, each of which introduces a new mechanic or weapon. But basically this is your classic survival horror kind of thing. There's some crafting and resource scavenging, a flashlight with a battery that slowly loses its charge, and hordes of zombie-like creatures. In the first demo, you're introduced to this tentacle slime that's taken over a small Polish town, and you have to use the light from your flashlight to clear your path forward. Add old crates, piles of junk, and these deteriorating corpses on top of that, and things can get pretty hectic and tense. As you've probably noticed, the main draw here is this really cool perspective shift when aiming your weapon. So when you're in the regular top-down isometric mode, you can rotate your view in 45-degree increments. I'm sure this is a feature in some other games too, but it's a nice way to show off more of the environment while still having a fixed camera point of view. Something that's probably way less common to see is this shift into a third-person over-the-shoulder camera. It's super smooth and seamless when playing. Ignore my aim here. And really makes you feel more involved in the action and kinda just raises the stakes. Combat is what you would expect though. Aim for the head or the legs to stop your enemies more quickly while using less of your precious bullets. And sometimes it's better to try and avoid combat altogether. When you get caught by one of these monsters, a DDR kind of arrow prompt will pop up. It was a little difficult for me to get these most of the time because they are pretty quick, but I thought it was an interesting way to do a quick time event. Another thing that I struggled with a bit was the stamina bar at the bottom. You lose stamina whenever you go into this aiming mode, so you kind of have to be spot on with where you're pointing your weapon before you shoot it, or else you're going to run out of energy very quickly. Now, one thing that is easy to overlook in a horror game is the effect that humor has on the experience. Sometimes it's those cheesy one-liners that become classic gamer memes, or in this case, something a bit more clever and maybe intentional. This tour guide, who I think was introduced to the game just for this demo, I'm not quite sure, is honestly a pretty refreshing way to go about a tutorial. He has a dark sense of humor that fits with the setting and some wonderfully done voice acting. Horror and humor make a great pair, who would have thought? At the end of the demo, you'll unlock the Tunnel Challenge roguelike mode, and it's pretty much what it sounds like. You see how many monsters you can fight off before you die. I did not make it very far. And that's just about it. From everything I've played up to this point, combining the intriguing setup and exploration from the first demo with this tight combat and resource management, I think Holstin is going to be a very special game. It doesn't have a release date yet, but it will be coming to Steam, Xbox, Switch, and PlayStation. But before we get more news and that third demo later this year, check out some of these other cool survival horror games.